Hello and welcome to this tutorial video where we're going to look at analyzing a data file in the new AIM RayStudio 3 analysis software. Now I will caveat that it's a beta software, so much of what I'm going to show you today may change over time as the software engineers develop the actual application, but this is how it sits today. And so I'm going to open up RayStudio 3, and this is where we left off in our last session. We were talking about the test database view and being able to see the date and track the sessions and then specific information about the sessions here. But what we're going to do now is actually double click into a data file. We're not going to look at video in this particular session video. We're going to look at that in a later tutorial. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this particular file here, and what's going to happen is that it's going to load up the track view to start off with. And so you can't necessarily adjust it yet, but what AIM have done is they've put an indication of speed as a quick view. Over time you should be able to adjust many of these variables. But what I'd like to do here, first of all, on this particular track map is up here, if I click that icon, so it looks like the Google Earth icon that's here, you can see that all of a sudden you can now see the track layout on top of actual Google Earth. And this is something that people absolutely loved in the RayStudio 2 analysis, but found hugely frustrating and difficult to do because you had to actually download the files, export them out of the RayStudio analysis, import them into Google Earth, and then analyze them. So all of this is now done for you in the software, which is a huge plus for anyone who loves being able to see this track view. One of the other cool features is that if you may want to see something in slightly different detail, this may be useful, for example, if maybe the satellites aren't fully lining up, which you can see there may be some slight issues that are here. What you can do is you can change the type of map layout. So if I click here, I can change it to Bing, and you can see on Bing it actually looks a little bit more accurate in terms of the overlay. And so it just gives you a good view in terms of what's happening, and then it's a great addition and enhancement on the software. So that's the track. And so that's the track feature, which if you had closed, you could open up by using this particular button here. And what AIM have done is that they've released, as part of this beta, 4 key views. You've got time distance, you've got movies and channel reports. And you can see that up here that you've got time distance, track. You actually have a histogram layout if you want to be able to see graphs, and we'll look at that one in later tutorials. And then you also have the channels report. What we're going to have a look at today is we're going to predominantly focus on the track and the time distance. So that's the first view, and it always defaults to opening up at this track view if you have them loaded as part of your profile, which I'll talk about in the next tutorial as we move forward. The next thing I want to be able to then show is the time distance, and so this will be really user preference as to what you have and what type of channels you have. And so I have here brake pressure, GPS speed, RPMs and throttle position, and you can see that if I go onto this main page here, you can see that those are the ones that are loaded here. Over time you'll be able to adjust these, and one of the things that's key as a default before you start analyzing laps, you'll always have a per channel color. So you can see that throttle position is green and that RPMs is a red color and so forth, and you can change these if you so chose to do so. That's the view. What you can also do is you can search for any channels you want to add. So if I typed in here GPS, it'll show me all the GPS channels that are available to me to be able to upload and add. And if I wanted to add in here GPS longitudinal, I just click there. It moves from the right to the left, it's in bold, and it's loaded, and also appears in this main list. I do have the opportunity of being able to sort through these channels as well. So if I go up here to the channels, it will change the view that I have and show me all the channels that are available. These are all the ones that are coming from my logger. These are all the ones that are calculated, and these are all the ones that are coming from my GPS that everyone has, regardless of whether you have a Solo, Solo 2, or any of the more modern devices. Everyone has these GPS pieces of information. So what we can do is we can either sort those by channel type, we can sort them alphabetically, or we could sort them by configuration. And so all sorts of ways of being able to view the channels. Some people have loads of channels that are on there, so useful, but the search function is probably one of the most modern enhancements to the device, so you can actually find those channels you're looking for, especially if you add a lot more math channels in there as well. So that's the view. What I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to have a quick view using GPS, because everyone's got GPS. So I'm going to leave GPS longitudinal and GPS speed available. And then I'm going to go into laps, and I'm going to click on the next fastest lap. This is 15.31. Let's click on this 15.366. And you can see now that you get the same sort of view with a time compare bar that you would do if you're analyzing this data. AIM haven't given the opportunity of building a track map and the segments right now, so this is really indicative of the fact that this means that you've got right and left hand turns and then straights, but over time that will advance and enhance as the functionality becomes available. But again, you can start analyzing the data would you normally. You can see that as the blue lap is slower than the red lap, you can see why and where. You can see that, for example, this corner here, which is coming into an area called the S's, the blue lap overslows. We can also see that the blue lap catches up quite considerably in this instance because the blue lap takes much more speed through this area called bobbies. And the nice thing is if you notice that I'm comparing these two together, and I can zoom in on this map as I need to, and if I don't like it being Google Earth, I can change it to Bing and see that information here. So a very useful way of being able to analyze your data. This is the view. This is how you navigate. The main page just tells you everything you need. You can sort through your functions. And it's a very easy and quick way of being able to analyze your data as you would do normally based upon your channels. Analysis, a lot of the analysis videos that are created on this channel, regardless of Race Studio 2 or Race Studio 3 analysis, will be applicable. But at the same time, it's nice to see how they show up in the actual device, the software of Race Studio 3 analysis. Next video, we're going to have a look at how to be able to configure this to create your own view and customize a profile. So hopefully you found this video useful. Please give it a thumbs up if you like it. If you've got questions, please ask in the box below. And don't forget, if something happens on the beta software that you don't like, you can always upload it directly to AIM and give them that information so that they can work through that particular information as well. So thanks so very much for watching.